This is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So I recently purchased this book by Lonely Planet, celebrating 50 years of travel on Scandinavia, because this is the Nordics channel. And I asked you guys, and I did my research, and we didn't call it Scandinavia, or I was thinking of ASMR Scani, because Finland is old, but Finland is in this book. So someone didn't get the message that Finland isn't part of Scandinavia, but there we go. So this book, we're going to do hopefully a series if you enjoy it, if the video does well. This video does well if you like and comment and subscribe. Then I will do a series, and we'll flick through, and we'll choose a couple of places to learn about each time. One from each of the countries. So they've got Iceland, the Faroe Islands, Norway, Sweden, Denmark and Finland. And Svalbard is included in Norway as well, so we'll definitely take a look at that. I was taking a look, planning this video earlier on, and it really is a fantastic book. I mean, it's such a beautiful place to begin with, because there are lots of wonderful pictures. Look how many different people are responsible for it as well. So there'll be lots of things we'll take a look at. They even have something that looks really cool. Look at that. I think, is that Norway? It's not Denmark. It's got lots of ideas of things to do if you want to go hiking or go on a city tour. So it says cool cities, best urban experiences. So start off with Copenhagen, go to Helsinki, Södermalm in Stockholm, Bergen and Reykjavik. Something I won't be doing much of. Active adventures, hiking and extreme sports. So hike the Kungsleden, trek across Sweden's spectacular, soulful Arctic north. Walk over the roof of Norway through Jotunheimen National Park. Let a team of huskies, or even a reindeer, take you sledding across a beautiful icebound world in Jukkasjärvi, in the heart of Sweden's Sameland. Take the water in a kayak or canoe and explore Finland's quietly picturesque Åland archipelago. Nothing matches the gravitas of kayaking through Iceland's Jökulsárlón glacier lagoon, where you'll be dwarfed by icebergs as they drift out to sea. And there's ways to see the Sami world. I've been to the Sami Museum in Stockholm, inspiring designs to look at different churches. So it says regions and cities. It explains a little bit about the Faroe Islands then, Svalbard. It talks about a little route to go through Copenhagen, Gothenburg, Göteborg, Stockholm, Turku and Helsinki. That'll be awesome. Or instead, shall we do Bode, Lofoten Islands, Abisko National Park, Tromsø, Karasjok, Inari and Lemmenjoki National Park. Lysefjord. Then Bergen, Sognefjord, Reykjavik, and Ring Road. That one's a bit more expensive. Norway and Iceland being the two most expensive of the two. And I won't spend loads of time looking at these, but they are super helpful, and they talk about things like festivals that you might want to see or avoid, what the daily temperatures are like in different months of the year, some expressions, anteeksi, kiitos, ole hyvä, undskyld, farewell, and then Icelandic, tack, which means please, and tack fyrir is thanks. Norwegian, var så snill, tack, beklage, and Swedish, hej, hej då, tack, förlåt, ja, nej. I love all this sort of stuff. So, dress smart. Scandinavians pride themselves on dressing casually, but don't be fooled. Casual rarely means scruffy, unless you're at a death metal concert in the back blocks of, say, northern Finland. Scandinavians may dress down, but they still look as if they've stepped out of a magazine. This is especially true in Copenhagen, Helsinki and Stockholm. Carry a couple of sets of nice clothes. Manners about shaking hands, even with children. People don't shake hands in Britain that much. I like it personally, but I would never do it with a child. Yeah, if you're lucky enough to be invited in someone's home, take your shoes off when entering and bring a gift, such as flowers, wine or chocolate for your hosts. Not a stitch. Finally, choosing what to wear in a sauna is no choice at all. Nothing. Oh my god, I'd be so uncomfortable. It's even got things to watch, like The Bridge, flagship for gritty Scandinavian detective stories focused on the bridge between Sweden and Denmark, the Öresundbron, and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I've seen that. And listen to The Best of ABBA, or Mastering Finland, expat-led podcast about what it's like to live in Finland. Sounds good. I might check that out on Spotify. Food, oh my god, that's gonna make me hungry. Icelandic lamb, wow. Again, I'm talking about cinnamon buns. Hjortron, cloudberry served in Sweden as jam or as a warm sauce over ice cream. Finland's Ranua even has a cloudberry festival in August. Should we skip a little bit? So it starts with Denmark, then we end up in, I think, Faroe Islands, then Finland, then Iceland, then Norway, then Sweden. So we'll choose one from each. Let's not do Copenhagen today. Let's save that for part 2. One of my really good friends is in Copenhagen today, actually on holiday. I was telling her all the places to go. I think this is all Copenhagen Centre. Yeah. Okay, so the second place is Roskilde. And we can see the map here. You've got the Byparken, the city park. So you've got the museums Ön on the north there, the other Viking ship museum, and then we've got the Roskilde Domkirke in the middle, St. Laurentius, and Stendetorvet just here. Mostly known outside of Denmark for the massive Roskilde Music Festival, this former capital, about 30 kilometers west of Copenhagen, is not only a musical standout, but also one of Denmark's oldest towns and home to some of the country's most significant historical treasures. The jewel in Roskilde's crown is the towering UNESCO-listed Roskilde Cathedral, where generations of royals have been buried. But the Viking Ship Museum, just a short parkland away, is a window even deeper into the past, when this fjord-facing city, Roskilde Fjord, was an important Viking settlement founded by the legendary King Harald Bluetooth in 1980 CE. Roskilde's musical reputation doesn't quit when the festival packs up. The new Musicon neighbourhood, a former industrial park, is home to Ragnarok, an innovative and experimental museum of modern music, where you can dive into Danish and international pop culture from the 50s until today. Viking ships and royal crypts. The ultra-fine Gothic spires of Roskilde Domkirke loom over the city. This spectacular UNESCO-listed cathedral is the finest religious building in Denmark. Bishop Absalon laid the first bricks in 1170 atop a previous wooden church. But a series of fires, renovations, and the Reformation mean the church today is as much a historical relic as it is a living document of 850 years of Danish history, architecture and leadership. 21 kings and 18 queens are buried here. A tomb designed by artist Bjørn Nygård has already been prepared in one of the cathedral's 11 chapels for Queen Margrethe II, who celebrated 50 years on the throne in 2022, but she abdicated last week. The chapels are diverse in decor, from the Baroque trompe-l'œil and wrought iron of Christian IV in 1648 to the cold, elegant neoclassical style of Frederick V, 1766, or the strikingly elegant marble tomb of Margrethe I, 1412, who was the first monarch to be buried here. Overlooking Stendetorvet, Roskilde's large main square is St. Laurentius, where you can summit the bell tower, spared demolition after the Reformation. You can summit the bell tower and descend into the basement where the skeletal remains of medieval graves await. At the Harbourside Viking Ship Museum, the Harbourside Viking Ship Museum contains 5 original Viking longboats discovered at the bottom of Roskilde Fjord in 1962 and painstakingly reassembled. The Skullerlev ships were sunk intentionally around 1070 to blockade the fjord and prevent a seaborne enemy attack. Take a guided tour of the connected Museumsön boatyard. Here, Museumsön, where artisans and experimental archaeologists build reconstructions using period tools and techniques. Where to eat? Ravn-Borgimle, popular live music venue and bar with a volunteer-run cafe serving simple meals. Musicon Mikrobryggeri, paninis and pints at this itty-bitty container-built brewery at the heart of Musicon. MS Sagifjord dine on Danish classics aboard their 1950s ship as it cruises around Roskilde. Quite expensive. It talks here about Musicon, the festival. Anchored by the dramatic neon and gold facade of the Ragnarok Music Museum, the factory-turned neighbourhood of Musicon sits between Roskilde Centre and the festival grounds. Here you'll find summer concerts, cafes and eclectic galleries and workshops. Inside the museum is a visual and auditory feast with interactive music, dance and recording exhibits. Sounds cool. Okay, that's Denmark for this. So much to see. Give me a comment, tell me what you'd like me to do next time in Denmark. And then, after Denmark, we look at the Faroes. Just the Faroe Islands. Untamed beauty. The archipelago's 18 islands sit relatively close to one another. A road and tunnel network links the largest and most central of the Faroes, but the smaller and outer islands may rely on ferry and helicopter connections. Vagar, encapsulating the best of the Faroes in bite size, this island has majestic waterfalls, picturesque villages, dramatic seascapes and rewarding hikes. Okay, we will do the capitals today. It's probably most on the capital here, isn't it? Beyond Tórshavn. Listen to live music at sea. For a unique musical experience, set sail to Sea Cave aboard the historical wooden schooner North Lucyth. Each summer, musicians perform a series of recitals inside grottos in Nålsøy and Hestur. These natural concert halls have special acoustics, and the vintage vessel makes a floating stage, while guests watch the short performance from a smaller boat. The schedules and tickets, see blah blah blah. Small island life on Nålsøy. It's only 20 minutes by ferry to the island of Nålsøy, but stepping ashore feels a world away from Tórshavn. A striking sperm whale jawbone marks the entrance to Nålsøy village, and you might spot fish hanging up to dry outside the colourful houses as you stroll around. The island's steep eastern side is rich with bird life, including puffins and the world's biggest storm petrel colony. In a wonderfully wind-blown spot on the island's southern end stands Nålsøyarviti, a photogenic white lighthouse built in 1893. You can hike across the island's wild hills to see it on an excellent 13-kilometre return walk from the ferry landing. Who were the first settlers of the Faroes? The Faroese language is derived from Old Norse, a legacy of this island chain's Viking heritage. However, the first settlers on this North Atlantic archipelago may have been Celtic-speaking people from the British Isles. That's me. After studying DNA and feces sediments from sheep, scientists dated the arrival of livestock to around 500 CE and deduced that a community must have been present 350 years before the Vikings arrived. Ancient Celtic grave markers, some place names, and medieval texts lend further weight to this theory. Researchers also discovered barley grains on Sandøy that predate the Viking period. DNA analysis found that Faroese men belong to a predominantly Scandinavian gene pool, while women have mostly British Isle ancestry. How interesting. There's quite a lot for the Faroe Islands in there. Okay, let's move on to Finland. Knockout scenery shaped by quiet resilience. Beautiful picture on the left there. Let's go to Turku, page 174. So Turku, Helsinki down the south. Turku there, near the Åland Islands. Turku is Finland's second city, or first by some accounts, as it was the capital until 1812. The majestic Turun Linna, Turku Castle, an ancient Gothic wonder, Turun Tuomiokirkko, Turku Cathedral, both dating from the 13th century, are testaments to the city's storied past. Contemporary Turku is even more enticing, challenging Helsinki's cultural pre-eminence with cutting-edge art galleries, summer music festivals and innovative restaurants. University students keep cafes and clubs buzzing, while designer boutiques and second-hand shops offer limitless scope to browse for beauty and buried treasure. Through the age-old network of atmospheric streets and squares, the Aurajoki, Aura River, meanders picturesquely out to sea. For nature lovers, Turku is the gateway to the glorious Turku archipelago, as one of the country's main ports of entry. Many visitors arrive by ferry from Sweden and Åland. It's a fabulous launching pad for exploring the Finnish mainland. Medieval masterpieces chase darkness and light through two architectural marvels. The riverside Aboavetus. God, I can't see anything on this map, it's too small. Aboavetus is number 1. So there. The old Turku Museum draws visitors underground to Turku's medieval streets with imposing stone ruins. Some 37,000 artifacts, from ceramics to buried gold, have been unearthed from the site below. Digs still continue. A brighter experience is 7k across the river on Hirvinsalo Island. At the Taidekapelli, St. Henry's Ecumenical Art Chapel. Still on here. No. A neo-Gothic brick chapel covers a medieval wooden granary named after Finland's first bishop. Its timber interior looks more like a Burning Man installation than a place of worship, curving into a hypnotic Holyoke triangle, framing the altar in light. Feudal fortress. Turun Linna, Turku Castle. Let's look at this unusual accommodation. Hotel Kakola, former prison, transformed with plush, warm Scandinavian design, Nordic, including a jailhouse chic cell room. Very expensive. Bridgettine Sisters Guest House, this Catholic convent's guest wing, the haven with austere, spotless rooms. Okay, the fortress. Founded in 1280, the mouth of the Aurajoki, the gargantuan Turun Linna, is easily Finland's biggest fortress. It's free for visitors to roam the annex of its stony courtyard, but Admission to the museum inside is worthwhile too. The labyrinthine layout features dungeons, banquet halls and the castle's impressive Old Bailey. Swedish Count Per Brahe ruled Finland from the castle in the 17th century, and Sweden deposed Eric the 14th, was imprisoned in its round tower in the late 16th century. Today most Finns recognise the castle's distinctive architecture as the logo for Turun Sinappi, Turku mustard. Enter the mosh pit. Finland's summer rock festival, Ruisrock, is a 100,000 person strong, once-in-a-lifetime affair. Gigantic stages and pyrotechnics galore take over Turku's Ruissalo Island for a July weekend every year. Essentially Finland's Woodstock. It's the oldest Finnish rock festival and the second oldest such festival in Europe, held since 1970. Not for me, sorry guys, I'm more into K-pop. Where to drink in style. Pani Moravintola Koulu, school turned elegant brew pub and beer garden with seasonal brews and interesting ciders. Where to eat. Smør, organic, locally sourced dishes lit by flickering candles in a vaulted cellar. Once upon a capital, Åbo, Turku's original Swedish name, means a settlement, Bo, on a river, Å. When the Russians took over the city, they, so still deeply connected to Sweden and once Sweden's second largest town, lost its capital status to Helsinki and became a commerce hub. The name Turku is an archaic Russian word for marketplace. Today the Aurajoki, lined with terraced restaurants and cultural sites, is Turku's hub for local life. These riverbanks have been inhabited over millennia. Archaeological finds date back to the Stone Age, but Turku was founded with a Catholic settlement in 1229. In the 14th century, a new church and Turku castle saw the city consecrated as an administrative and spiritual base. And best live music venues, Bar Ö. Bar with cozy living room vibes, DJs and live bands, a student favourite. And last bit then, killer karaoke. A little known fact about Finland, karaoke is a favourite pastime. A few mics, a machine and a screen are staples of pub culture. Finns, normally reserved folk, perform with a stage presence that would impress reality show judges, and pubgoers, young and old, adore it. Fun. Apparently the best places are Karaoke Coco Loco and Karaoke Bar Pelemiers. Two of Turku's best bars for all-night croon sessions. Many pubs also host weekly karaoke events. Okay, let's go to Norway. Don't forget to tell me where to go. Oh, actually, go to Iceland first. Let's look at the East Fjord. Located right over the other side of where Reykjavik is. Look at that view. Home to fishers and farmers, aluminium smelters and hotels, an artist commune and a finishing school. The East Fjords embody the contrast of Icelandic life. Around here, economic success is still measured in fish, and people know cod from haddock. Let's see all the sites here. Kistofell, 1000 mountains await your attention. Some 7k from Bakkegerði village is a harbour with the grassy rock of Hafnarholmi, one of the best places on Iceland's mainland to see puffins up close. The Alpine Durfjöll mountain range, looming over the fjord, has a walking trail to Storurd, a middle-of-nowhere lagoon of giant boulders. Artist colony. While other settlements store their legacy inside museums, the entire town of Seyðisfjörður is monumental to its founding. 19th century Norwegian sailors first sailed down the 18k fjord to chase the Atlantic herring stock, turning the settlement into a lucrative enterprise. Big money brought big houses of lavish style, but herring has little respect for economic stability in the boom and bust. But before the era of concrete houses, had Seyðisfjörður kept its status as a regional stronghold, many landmark buildings would likely have been torn down and replaced with concrete, as happened elsewhere. Seyðisfjörður continues to lure pioneering outsiders. Swiss painter Dieter Roth resided there. Remarkable rocks. Volcanic Iceland reminds us of ever-evolving Earth, while the dormant East Fjords bring to light her old age. The region is home not just to one but two ambitious stone museums. Remarkable sites around here are, if you will, rock solid. They're the Helgustaða mine, and 10-minute drive from the town of Eskifjörður is a hole in the ground that once changed the world. It's the entry to the 70-meter long Helgustaða mine, where the largest and purest crystals to project light were once found. These led to the invention of telescopes and magnifiers. Known as Iceland Spar, the biggest chink ever extracted is in fact on display at the British Natural History Museum in London. Today only small pieces remain left at the site, bringing a flashlight and note the old railway tracks. Okay, we'll carry on and go to Norway. So we'll miss Oslo. Let's go to Bergen. 400. Out on the coast. Bergen ranks among Scandinavia's most beautiful cities. Look at that. Surrounded by 7 hills and 7 fjords, the city has gorgeous wooden architecture that radiates from its compact historic centre. With medieval Brücken at its centrepiece, the area around Bergen's inner harbour hums with people, energy and a feel-good atmosphere that draws return visitors from across Europe and further afield. So you've got all the different fjords. Brücken, number 1, we've got Brücken sites. Mount Flyen is number 2. And Mount Ulriken is number 3. Brüggen and harbour life. History lives and breathes in Brüggen. Running along the eastern shore of the Vågen harbour, Brüggen translates as wharf. UNESCO World Heritage listed Brüggen as a superb collection of colourfully painted wooden rough plank buildings leaning at precarious angles. View from above, let me straighten this up. One of the best things you can do in Bergen is to climb one of the mountains that surround it. Bergen is magnificent from above. Before setting out, pick up the free walking map of Mount Fluyen at the tourist office. The most popular option is Fløibanen, 26-degree funicular that ambles from the city centre up pretty forested hillside dotted with whitewashed wooden homes, all the way to the summit of Mount Fluyen, 320 metres. From the viewing platform, Bergen unfurls into the fjords, and from up here, Bruggen looks like a toy town. A little further down from the harbour, but still easily accessible from downtown, Mount Ulriken, 643 metres, is twice the height of Fluyen and every bit as beautiful. The Ulriken 643 cable car speeds in just 7 minutes to the top, which offers a superb panorama over city, fjords and mountains. There's also a zip line. Of the many hiking trails from here, the best is the 4 to 6 hour path running north across the ridges to the top of Fløibanen funicular. Where to stay? Hotel Park, 2 19th century houses packed with curios and antiques compose this family-run treasure. Where to drink? Terminus Bar, superb whiskey bar. This wood-panelled den in the Grand Hotel Terminus has more than 500 PT tastes. I'm not a fan of whiskey. I love my vodka. Culinary Bergen. Bergen has everything, from atmospheric dining halls in Bruggen that date to Hanseatic times, to cutting-edge temples, to new Nordic cuisine. At Pingvinnen, locals come for the meals their parents and grandparents used to cook. These might include kjöt, kaker, meatballs with mushy peas and lingonberries, pluckfisk, cod with mashed potatoes, bacon and flatbread. Oh, this is lovely. Lappiskaus, salted lamb stew. Torget Fish Market has casual red tents on the harbour front, where it serves ready-to-eat salmon, calamari fish and chips, prawn baguettes and seafood salads. Why I love Bergen. Bergen is where I first fell in love with Norway. Bruggen and the fish market by the harbour are throwbacks to the elegant simplicity of Norway's pre-oil past, when life revolved around the fishing fleet. Okay, and let's move on to Sverige. Let's go to Sweden, shall we? So as usual, we're not doing the capital city in this one. Let's do... Should we do Östersund? Östersund. Home of a legendary lake monster. 493. So, Östersund. Up the top there. I think of Graham Potter, ex-Swansea manager at Chelsea, when I think of Östersund. So we've got the city here, Jämtli Museum there, then we've got Frösön, the bridge, what's that saying, Badhusparken. Östersund, best known as the home of Sweden's rarely sighted answer to the Loch Ness Monster. Urban Östersund, a gateway to the Inlandsbanan, strikes you with its youthful buzz, since it's the only large town along the Inland Railway, and the Inlandvägen, Inland Way, bar Arctic Gällivare. Although St. Olav's pilgrim route to Trondheim, Norway, passed through these parts at least 1,000 years ago. Östersund itself dates from 1786, envisaged by Gustav III as a trade rival to Trondheim, with local merchant farmers encouraged to sell their goods right here. Its location by the mighty Storsjön Lake gives Östersund a relaxed seaside holiday feel, particularly during the summer months, when locals and visitors alike fill the bars and cafes of this UNESCO-designated city of gastronomy and stroll the pedestrianised shopping streets in its compact heart. In winter, Östersund acts as a gateway to the snow sport capital of Åre. Top tip: Östersund is compact and walkable. One of the best ways to appreciate the city is to take the footbridge across to the island of Frösön and gaze back at Östersund in profile, ideally around sunset. Come here in late spring and summer, plus the winter months. Autumn is the dead season. Where to stay in Åre? So the Copperhill Mountain Lodge, this ski-in, ski-out wooden stone lodge with an excellent restaurant, looks down on Åre from its lofty mountain perch. Where to eat in Åre? Vinbaren Åre, imaginative Swedish small plates paired with an extensive global wine list. Liten krog. Pizzas rub shoulders with smoked moose at this seasonal bistro. Riding the Inlandsbanan, Lapland scenic train. Every summer, between late June and late August, the scenic single-carriage Inlandsbanan train chugs its way north for some 700 kilometers into Lapland wilderness, shadowing the E45 Inlandsvägen. First up, Strömsund, Ulriksfors station, is the starting point for the spectacular Vildmarksvägen, Wilderness Way. Further north, Vilhelmina, the other entry point to the Vildmarksvägen, has been an important meeting place for the Sami for centuries. Northern capital of culture. A youthful riverside town with cultural venues and a superb dining scene. Umeå is the Bothnian coast essential stop. Umeå's excellent Västerbottens Museum traces the province's region from prehistoric times to the Industrial Revolution. Exhibitions include the world's oldest ski, around 5,400 years old, and an exploration of Sami rock art. In summertime, costume staff demonstrate traditional homestead life at the Friluftsmuseet, open-air village next door. I think I missed a page. Here we are going beyond Östersund. Step back in time. Östersund's main attraction is the two-part Jamtli Museum. Inside, the star attractions are the Överhogdal tapestries, the oldest of their kind in Europe, woven from flax by Vikings in 1100 CE, and featuring animals, people, ships, and dwellings. Another fascinating display is devoted to Storsjöodjuret, the lake monster, including monster catching gear and a pickled monster embryo. The open-air section consists of a 19th century village where enthusiastic costume staff have you take part in milking, baking and tree felling. Where to eat out in Östersund? Jazzköket. This is where to go for Östersund's most creative dining and live jazz, and it's done a great job of engaging with local producers and microbreweries. Or you could go to Slaktarn. I'm a big fan of this ethical butcher, which sells homemade charcuterie from local farms and doubles as a buzzy wine bar. Where to stay in Östersund? Hotel Emma. Rooms styled with homey touches such as armchairs and ceramic stoves. Excellent breakfast, bike rental. Or the cheaper Hotel Zata Long Stay. Super central, well-equipped studios with kitchenettes, singles, doubles and family rooms available. Okay, let's look at the sea monster. Spot Sweden's lake monster. Östersund's most famous resident is Storsjöodjuret, the monster that dwells somewhere in the dark waters of the 91-meter deep Storsjön Lake. Sightings were made as early as 1635, when the description of a strange animal with a black serpentine body and cat-like head first appeared in a folk tale. The Frösö runestone depicts a serpent-like creature, and in 1894 a hunt for the lake monster was organised by Oscar II. However, the Norwegian whalers specially hired for the job came back empty-handed. In summer you can go on a popular 2-hour monster spotting cruise aboard the 1875 SS Tomei. And lastly, echoes of the past. Across the footbridge from Östersund, Frösön takes its name from Frö, the pagan god of fertility, worshipped by the Vikings originally resident here. Located near the block of flats, Sweden's 11th century runestone commemorates the 1050 arrival of Austmaður or Eastman, the first Christian missionary on Frösön. More evidence of prehistoric settlement is found in the form of some well-preserved Stone Age petroglyphs near Glösa, 40 km northwest of Östersund. Rock slabs beside a stream feature numerous carvings of elk dating from 5000 BCE. And we talked a little bit about Umeå and Strömsund. A little Strömsund all the way down. How to get to Vilhelmina. And Åre, the Swedish outdoor adventure capital. Next is Kiruna. Okay, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, it would be a massive, massive favour if you could press like, because that will really help to get this video out to a wider audience. And you can always drop me a comment telling me how much you enjoyed it, but also make sure that you mention where you'd like me to do next in this little series I'm going to attempt to do using this book. Okay, and don't forget to click subscribe and choose the next video when it pops up.